Well, they rolled up. It was like a maroon red, like older. Probably our van was actually newer than theirs, probably. And they pulled up with like a plain white trailer. And I remember like they got out, they started like loading up their gear, and I just like walked by him and I was like, "What's up, man?" He was just like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" And I was just like, you know, they're just regular dudes. Like, if they can do this, why can't we? They're using the same kind of gear as us. They're rolling it in themselves. They don't have roadies or anything. They're in the old like, you know, 90s like red maroon van. It's like, you know, like that. And like I tried to give them a CD after the show for us, and they were like, "We'll probably literally never listen to this because there's no CD player in the van." So like I don't know how you want us to like. I'm just gonna be totally honest with you, dude. And I'm like, you know, it's cool, whatever. So like, I mean, they're driving around in old stuff and like using old gear. It's like, you know, they can do this, so can we. Playing a show in like a really small venue and just having like the other bands watching you and maybe your parents if they're there. And you like you're all excited for the show, like you've been promoting it, you've been waiting for it, and no one shows up. And then you're just like, all right, well, we got to put on the same show we put on for 3,000 people for 3 people, and we just have to go do it. And it's hard to like gut it out like that, but it's just something you have to do. My first show, and I'm like, you know, 16, 17, and I'm up there. I forget the second verse, so I go up there. Like I know the song, but like up there, it's my first show, so I'm nervous. I don't remember it. I go up there, I put my mouth to the mic, and I'm like, oh, I don't know the words, so I pull back, and then I'm just like, I'm just gonna keep playing and hope it's okay, and just struggle through the song. And you know, people are gonna think we're dumb, but I forgot the words, so that's like when it's like catastrophic when you're like, all right, I gotta play Damage Control now. I gotta finish this song and play.
That's perfect.
I'd say the greatest part is just like being in the van after a show just went really well. And we have this CD in the van. It's Foxy Shazam's self-titled album. They're like kind of like they're not anything like us. They're like a glam rock band, and we'll like blast that after a good show. So I think that's like the best feeling, honestly. Just like listening to Foxy in the van after a good show and just being like, all right, we did well tonight. We can build off that. We were all at Warped Tour this year. We weren't like playing or anything. We were in line for a booth, and a kid came up to us and was like, "Hey, I saw you guys at the Hit the Light show. You guys were awesome. Here's my crappy Warped Tour poster. Will you guys just sign it? Just because I want all the bands that I like's autograph." And we're just like, "Yeah, you know, whatever." So we sign it, and like he goes away, and I'm like, "Wow, that's like the first, you know, autograph I've ever signed for someone." And I think that feeling like of like euphoria, like someone cares about our music. So I was like, that's pretty cool. I think that's what would really make it worth risking it for. It was just like not even like the fame, just like our music did something for someone that like they enjoyed it, and like I think that was just awesome. We were just like loading in gear from the van because you know, like independent bands, like we had to load in our own gear, and you know, they rolled up, and I just saw those guys, and I just thought back to like in middle school, like with my little iPod Nano, you know, just listening to like Hit the Lights and stuff like that, like pop punk, and like seeing them, and I'm like, wow, I'm actually gonna play with them. I never thought that would happen, and like I remember getting like went back to like getting my first guitar when I was like 10, and like how it's not like it wasn't like the biggest show ever, like it wasn't like a sellout or anything. I'm not trying to like act like it was like the biggest deal in the world, but to me, like the like just like that meaning to me, I was like, wow, you know, like I haven't made it yet, but you know, I it's attainable. It's not impossible, and I should go for it. I kept looking at my phone, like, or like pacing around the parking lot. Like me and my singer, we were just like, all right, come on, Jeremy. Like they call him Dose because the bass player before me in the band was also named Jeremy. So like Drew was sitting there, he's like, come on, Dose. Like, what are you doing? So like, you know, we're just trying to like get it together and like, all right, we still have a show to play. He'll be here. Like he just happened to be running a little late that day, but we're all just like, damn it, Dose. Like, come on, get here. And then like he gets there and we're like, all right, you saved the day. Like, good for you, but now let's load in so we don't look like a bunch of noobs. Like, we need to get up there and play. Just remembering all your stuff. Like, our guitar player forgot all his cables one show, and he was like, you know, I'm gonna just play on someone else's amp, and the amp kept cutting out on him. And I think just remembering your gear, as simple as it sounds, just like remembering all of your stuff, because no one's gonna know your gear like you. So, like, something as simple as just playing your own gear is something you really have to remember to do. Like, I know that sounds obvious for anyone in a band. Like, bring your stuff. Like, if you're a football player, you're gonna bring your helmet. But sometimes, like, you just have to like rethink. Like, oh, I have it. That's good. I'm not gonna use someone else's stuff and have it cut out on me or something. I think just like one of my songs helps another person in the way that someone else's songs have helped me. Like, I want to give back to that kind of community. Like, there's artists that have like helped me through tough times, and I would like if one person came up to me and was like, "Hey man, like your songs really meant a lot to me. They got me through like a really hard time." I think that's like the moment where I'd be like, "All right, I've done what I've set out to do." I think even if it was just one person. I guess there's this one song called "Circumstances" that we have. I didn't write it. Our singer Drew wrote it, but I think it makes me think of you said we would stick together, thick and thin, through good and bad weather. I want this to work. You don't care at all. I think that really made me like think about like my past. I'm like, all right, I'm glad I'm playing in this band. Like it's not like this song was written before I joined the band, but it's still like, all right, this is like the direction. I would love to like have someone hear that and be like, wow, I felt that way before too. Well, I remember like, I don't know if this completely goes with this, but we were in the parking lot and like it was me and like our singer Drew were there first, and everybody got there. You know, we were pretty much on time except for our drummer who had my bass amp in his car, and he was like running late. I was like God, we finally get this like good show with this band, and like our drummer's gonna be late. We're gonna look unprofessional. Like, we're never gonna get another show. Like, I hate this. Like, you know, I mean, it's not gonna happen. And then he finally got there. He showed up right on time, and I was like, thank God. Like, we're not gonna completely look like complete tools up here. Like, looking like we're not knowing what we're doing, completely unorganized. Like, I think a lot of things in bands, like a lot of the things that go wrong are just not communicating, not being professional, and not treating the band like a business. And I think like that moment was just like, all right, oh God, we're still like teenagers. And then he got there and I was like, all right, good, we can go and play. I guess the irrational thoughts I were having, like I've been late to shows before, like it's happened, but like I was like, oh, this is on like the record label that was putting on the show is called Pure Noise Records, which is like a really popular like label. And I was like, oh, you know, we've never played a label show. Like, while I've been in the band, they're gonna kick us off the show. Like, we're not gonna get to play. They're just gonna like screw the opener. Like, he's late, they're not gonna play. Like, that was the worst fear of it. Of like, we prepared so long for the show. Well, not really that long actually, but like we were like so ready for the show. Because we kind of got put on the show late, but we were still like, this is a chance for us. We need to take it. We all talked about it. And I was like, oh, well, it's all for nothing now. Like, we're going to get thrown off the show. And it was very irrational. We're sitting in the parking lot, like all of our gear's loaded in besides his drums and my bass amp. And I'm just like, oh, now I'm looped into this too. Like, my gear's not here. I can't sound check. I can't do anything right now. And if it did happen, we'd probably just like, I don't know how the band, I mean, it definitely would have had a talking with the band. Like, we would have probably all gotten into a fight, you know. I don't know if the band would have broken up or something, but like it would have been a mutiny within the band. It definitely would have been a mutiny, and like it would have been bad. It just would have been bad. Drew wouldn't have been happy. Jonah, Sheldon, Jeremy himself wouldn't have been happy. It just would have been like, we would have had to really take a step back and rethink what we're doing, you know. Like, if we're not going to go for this, then what are we doing? Like, if we're just going to be not professional about it, then what are we doing with this? So, like, it would have definitely been, like, I use the word mutiny. It would have been a mutiny within the band. Like, there would have been some kind of uprising. Usually Drew's in the front seat, and he has like a captain's hat that he wears in the van that we got from a brew tour and Flying Dog. So he'll wear that in the van when he's driving. It's either me or Sheldon in the front seat, the guitar player, Jeremy, our drummer, and Jonah is in the back too. Jonah's in the back. He sometimes drives to the show himself. That's why I kind of hesitated on that, because he's from the DC area. So when we have shows in DC, he'll just drive there himself, because there's no point in him meeting at Drew's house. So it's usually like those and maybe plus or minus Jonah, and we're all just sitting there. And like, we'll turn up Foxy all the way, and Drew will go on to how Foxy was the next queen and stuff, and we'll just all be in a really good mood. We'll talk about how we need to build off it on social media and stuff, and we'll just kind of plan after that. It's like, it's almost like a feeling of, that was great, but it's back to work now. Like, we need to like remember it tonight, but tomorrow we have to get back to work.